this year at the state tournament. William, good luck and take it away.
So the other day, I was reading this article in The Onion titled, "Cat Thinks About Nothing But Murder All Day." And I thought to myself, come on, there is no way this little cat could think about murdering anything. But then I realized I have a cat and he does act suspicious sometimes. If, for example, sometimes I'll wake up and he'll just be standing there, staring. And worst of all, sometimes he'll even bring me a dead bug or even a chipmunk like it's a sign of things to come. Oh, I'm starting to think that my cat is actually trying to murder me. Or am I just crazy? Speaking of crazy, how about all those conspiracy theories you can find online? There are the classics, like who killed JFK and the moon landing was faked. Two more out there theories, such as the world is run by an ancient race of lizard people and 5G causes COVID, to the all-time classic of Flat Earth, which has actually been seeing a recent resurgence. Now, I could read an article on cat behavior to learn that my feline friend is not planning my imminent demise. But the same thing could be said to explain away all of the theories I just mentioned. And so this got me wondering, what is a conspiracy theory? Why do people believe them? And are there any real dangers once you dig past the surface? As we get started today, I ask you to join me and shine a light of skepticism on what you believe to be true. And of equal importance, ask yourself why. After all, the New York Times estimates that 50% of Americans believe in a discredited theory. Now, let's all get our tinfoil hats in place as we begin our exploration into the world of conspiracy theories. Let's start with the most basic of all internet searches, the dictionary. Merriam-Webster defines a conspiracy theory as a theory asserting that a secret of great importance is being held from the general public. Examples of this have come in many different shapes and sizes throughout the years. If, for example, the idea that an engine running on nothing but water was invented almost 30 years ago, but the patent was purchased by big oil companies to preserve their profits. Or that Iraq and its leader, Saddam Hussein, had weapons of mass destruction, as argued by General Colin Powell to the United Nations in 2003, which was ultimately proven completely false. Examples of some of the more fringe type of conspiracies include the idea that the moon isn't real, but instead a hologram designed to make us think that the Earth is round. Or that life itself is nothing more than a simulation, kind of like the video game The Sims, except we are the characters, and the things we encounter on a daily basis are controlled by higher beings, purely for their own entertainment. As you may imagine, many factors go into answering the question of why someone would choose to believe in a conspiracy theory. And chief among these being a deeply rooted idea that some people simply enjoy knowing something that others simply don't. As flat earther David Wells puts it, once you find out the Earth is flat, then you become empowered. As a conspiracy believer, you're privy to insider information. You're connected. You're even enlightened. You plainly see something that others just don't. Now, although these types of people have been on the fringe recently, after all, they're the tinfoil hat wearers of society, there are still many people, perhaps even some of you, who still believe in a conspiracy theory. If, for example, Kyrie Irving, formerly of the Boston Celtics, is an outspoken, prominent member of the Flat Earth movement, And actress Jenny McCarthy has been quoted as saying, "We firmly believe that the epidemic of autism is due to vaccines." If I hadn't known any better, I wouldn't have seen Kyrie or Jenny as anything more than a great basketball player and actress. Would you? And therein lie the danger. If you're more inclined to believe someone, you are in turn less likely to ask questions. As we've seen with the examples presented, some conspiracy theories can just be fun to ponder, while others can have devastating effects for both the believers and society at large. For people in the latter category, we have to ask ourselves how someone could get so caught up in a conspiracy theory as to do harm to themselves, or even others. In the 2018 study, titled "Something's Going On Here," Joshua Hart and Molly Grather determined that the people most susceptible to falling for a conspiracy theory have one or more of the following traits: paranoia, or suspicious thinking; eccentricity, low trust in others, belief in the world as a dangerous place, and seeing meaningful patterns when simply none exist. Another common denominator is often an overwhelming sense of narcissism, as discussed in the Science Direct article titled "Why Do Narcissists Find Conspiracy Theories So Appealing?" The author states that narcissism has been a great predictor and belief of conspiracies for years. And for some, they just want to seem smarter than everyone else. But for others, it's a deep-seated need to be a part of something bigger than themselves, to find their tribe, to fit in. And although there is nothing wrong with wanting to find people who you agree with, it's also important to remember that it's easier to dig a rabbit hole when you have a demolition crew digging with you. The feedback loop, or idea of an echo chamber, is often a powerful force that draws people into an idea with layer after layer after layer being added. Like many of you, I enjoy seeing people agree with various opinions that I hold near and dear. What's wrong with that? Well, nothing on the surface. It only becomes a potential problem when conversation by one or more parties turns from talking into action that is potentially damaging to property or even other people. But the good news is that there are several warning signs that quickly become apparent as you believe someone is sinking into the conspiratorial abyss. Picture this. You go up to someone and want to have a conversation about a potentially controversial topic, only for them to immediately shut you down without even listening. If you're like me, then this picture is a lot more vivid than you would like, because it has happened to almost everyone. And that exactly is why it's important to remember when engaging with someone with a deeply held belief that you go into the conversation in a learning mindset. As Dr. Stephen Covey would suggest in his book titled "The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People" would suggest, we should first seek to listen, then be listened to. This mindset allows for civil discussion in which nobody feels like they're stupid, and no one feels like they can't speak, and perhaps most importantly, one of you might just walk away having learned something valuable. Now, let's break out the red string and put all of this together. I do not know if anybody in this room believes that the earth is flat, or that an ancient race of lizard people control the world. But what I do know is that each of us has our own opinions. The ideas that make us into who we are shouldn't be attacked on a personal level. So I ask you, next time you see someone who you think is crazy or a tinfoil hat wearer, to hear them out, listen to them. Because even something as simple as that might just be the light at the end of the rabbit hole. Thank you very much.